Now at 5, the largest bank failure since the 2008 financial crisis. Tonight, the frantic rush to contain the fallout from Washington to Wall Street and what it means for your money.
Fed up and frustrated, people in the San Bernardino mountain community still trying to recover from a parade of powerful storms, and now there is another system staring down Southern California.
And this film won Academy Awards for Everything Everywhere All at Once. We're recapping last night's Oscars, including the history-making sweep. The news at 5 starts right now. Good evening. You're watching the news at 5. I'm Pedro Rivera.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sandra Mitchell, and tonight for Cher Calvin, we want to thank you for joining us. A lot of people nervous about this, but President Biden says the U.S. banking system is safe, it is secure, despite the failure of a big West Coast bank and the closure of another back east. The
failures have rattled everyone from Wall Street to Main Street. The big question tonight, is your money safe? KTLA 5's Rachel Menitoff is live in Studio City with what we have learned. Rachel.
Pedro, Sandy, many people wanted to come by their local banks, ask questions, talk to an expert. They told me they were initially concerned after hearing about the collapse of the banks over the weekend. But they've been reassured that they've been able to withdraw their money and that it's business as usual. The collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and New York-based Signature Bank is sending shockwaves throughout the U.S. economy. What about it concerns you?
That people will panic and everybody will start, pulling their money out. U.S.
regulators closed SVB on Friday after depositors rushed to withdraw their funds all at once. The Wall Street Journal is exclusively reporting that regulators are now trying to auction the bank off after they were unable to find a buyer over the weekend. SVB is the second largest bank failure in our history, behind the 2008 collapse of Washington Mutual. Customers at other small to medium-sized banks were spooked, especially those who have deposits exceeding the FDIC's $250,000 insurance limit. This was the line outside of the First Republic Bank branch in Brentwood this morning. People told us they considered moving their savings to a larger institution, not knowing the fate of the small. From JP Morgan Chase. Faz Habib stopped by the Studio City branch to make sure everything was in order.
Once people can get the money and you're not telling your friend, oh, there's a problem, and he's not telling someone else there's a problem, everything just calms down.
President Biden insisted today that the nation's banking system is safe and promised that small businesses who have accounts with either of these two failed banks will be able to pay their employees.
No losses will be borne by the taxpayers. Instead, the money will come from the fees that banks pay into the Deposit Insurance Fund.
Despite this reassurance, many bank stocks plummeted today. Professor James Reflo at Cal State LA says in light of what's happened, it's a good idea to spread out your assets.
The big picture is open up accounts in some other banks and try and stay under the limits instead of sticking with one bank.
And Professor Reflo says that these two banks that we're talking about are very specialized, and he does not think this is going to be a widespread problem, and he does not think this is going to affect the larger banks. We're live in Studio City tonight. I'm Rachel Menitoff. I'll send it back inside to both of you.
Rachel, thank you. The wet weather is not over yet. This is a live look outside. You see storm clouds rolling in.
I feel like a lot of people are getting tired of this. We're over it. Vera's here, though. She's tracking the latest system for us. Hey, Vera.
Hi. Well, yes, I think many of us feel like we are over it. The good news is though, that we do have a need for the rain. And as such, the reservoirs are starting to fill up, and that is also great news. Now, our water table, what is actually under the ground, that is still not doing well, but at least the water reservoirs are at least at 50%. Most of them are actually at capacity or over capacity, and that's really important. And that is mostly in northern and central California. San Diego still not doing so well, but they are seeing at least 50% capacity, and that is according to the National Weather Service. As we look at those weather headlines, we are going to begin to see drizzle tonight as that storm approaches. The next round of rain will really impact us tomorrow and Wednesday. Those snow levels are going to remain high, mostly above 8,000 feet. And we are going to expect, of course, travel delays. And as always, especially when we have oversaturated grounds like we do right now, we are going to be looking at mud and debris flows. A quick peek at the Doppler shows mostly northern California. We'll take a look at when it's going to arrive here in just a couple.